Alright guys, got this number 17 ready for this, but just want to show you guys this torque size here is 5. All right, that's for the ABS sensor down there. ABS sensor also has this little cover on it. You're gonna pop this clip open right here, then you're gonna push on a tab here, and the tab on that is gonna come off. Then you're gonna be able to remove this connector, but the ABS sensor moves for me guys, but it's stuck in there. If it breaks, oh well, we're gonna replace it. All right, but we're gonna continue the job. All right, so you're gonna need number 17 here guys. Only thing I want to show you guys is make sure you don't keep loosening this, and the next thing you know, your wrench here is stuck. All right, so same thing with all of them. Let me just set up my camera for this. All right guys, so I got this guy loose right here. I'm able to move it by hand. All right, let me get this guy also. You're gonna have to probably play around with the hub, because wherever these studs are, you have less of a gap there. All right, and let me loosen this one up. Use a good leverage wrench guys. All right, and I'm gonna do the same thing. You might not be able to see it, but for the rest of them. All right, so I got 1, 2, 3 loose, and then we got one down here somewhere. Where you at, little guy? It's right there. I can't even see it, like everything is blocking me, but I got my tool hooked onto it. All right, there we have it. All right guys, got all 4 bolts in here loose. All right, and then you should be able to pull it off by turning it by hand. It's not gonna come out, it's gonna come and hit the hub. That's what we want. All right guys, I got them all loose all the way as much as I can. If you move this hub, see that? My finger got caught a little bit. All right, let's bring the light over here guys. So if you move this hub forward, we got more gap for this little guy to get out of our way. All right, so there we have it guys. So just move it forward and keep on loosening the bolts. All right, there we go. The one in the bottom is not out yet. Push it back a little bit. Don't forget to put these bolts in when you're installing this hub into the bearing, all right? Because if you forget about it. The bearing will be damaged. All right, let me see if I can put my light up here somewhere. All right, guys. There we have the bearing, all right? You see that little O-ring, guys? Make sure you put this little O-ring back together, all right? But bearing was in terrible condition, all right, guys? So we do need to push this to dismount this off the bearing, all right? We'll do that on the press machine. All right, guys, I managed to get this hub out. What I did was I used something to put down here, and I just pressed the hub out of the bearing, all right? But that's out. I got this thing preset and ready to go in. All right, make sure, just to let you know, see this little metal piece right here, I mean the plastic piece looking, it's magnet, all right? It's magnetized. Make sure it's facing upward, because the ABS sensor reads this. All right, if you put it the other way around, it might not fit in there. It might fit in there, but your ABS is never gonna work. All right, you see these bolts, they're ready. All right, so when it's lower enough, I should be able to put all these bolts in there. All right, so let me compress this a little bit. Once I know this bearing has reached to a point where I'm not gonna be able to get these bolts in, that way I just let them sit right there just like so, right? But don't let the bolt block the bearing from compressing, all right? And if you can find something to hold these bolts up, that's even better. A tape would work, but let me figure something out. So what I did was I put 4 bolts in there and I put zip ties on them, and that's gonna hold everything in place, all right? And there goes my bearing. All right, guys, there you go. It's flush. All right, now we're gonna take this over to the car and put it in, all right? All right, guys, we're ready to install this little guy. Make sure you clean the inside. If it has any dirt, debris, or seal in the bearing and all that will not sit properly. All right, so make sure it's nice and clean. You can put a little bit of grease there if you like. But anyways, don't forget the O-ring. All right, let me check. I'm gonna check my box if it came with the new one, but I doubt it. I didn't notice anything inside of that box. All right, so. I don't think anybody opened this little guy. Yeah, there's nothing inside this box, all right? But anyways, this O-ring, let me show you where it goes. Let me grab the bearing. All right, guys, we have the bearing here. This O-ring has to go right here, guys, all right? This O-ring will stop a lot of leaks and stuff, dirt, debris from coming in. All right, make sure you put that O-ring right there. All right, and then another thing is, don't forget to put this plate back where it belongs, all right? So this thing goes in that direction, all right? Don't put it invert like this. You're gonna have a serious problem, all right? And I believe it was like this, all right? Let me just confirm. I think it was like this, yeah. This is how it was. Oh no, guys, you see this little guy, these little dobies right here? They're going into these holes. So yeah, I was correct the first time. Make sure it's that way. They stick into where they belong, right? And after that, make sure your ABS sensor is positioned correctly. You don't want to position it the wrong way. And you're gonna take your hub. You can put it in any direction you like. It won't make any difference. Alright, make sure it's clean, alright? Look, you see this little dirt on this axle? I don't want that there. Get that out of there. Make sure your seal is sitting properly. Alright, just take this little guy, stick it where it belongs. You could play a maneuver around a little bit. And once you have it in the spot, you could start grabbing the threads on these bolts. Once you have 1 or 2, it's gonna hold itself, right? And then you can get the other 3. Make sure you catch thread in all of them. All right. My heat just came on. Now it can be warm, all right? So I got these 2 in, and I don't need to worry about anything falling apart. Make sure you catch the threads in all 4 bolts before you tighten anything, all right? Sometimes you have to move it around so the threads can be caught in the other bolts. Alright, guys, and to tighten this, you can either torque it, but it's going to be very difficult for you to torque this, which might not work unless you have a whole bunch of tools where you can compress in this spindle a little bit later, alright? But anyways, clockwise. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tighten this one and the bottom one. This one, I'm going to snug them all in evenly, alright? I do not want it tighten anything uneven, alright? And I don't have enough clearance here, so I got to get this bolt in a little bit more before my tool can go on, alright? Alright, so the things are looking good, alright? It's going in like I want this thing to go in, alright? Alright, don't want to tighten it all the way. Snug it. Alright, let's move this a little bit this way so I can get my tool in on this one. I might not be able to get it yet. A little bit more. Let's turn it a little bit more. Alright, I still can't get it. If you can't turn it by hand anymore, guys, you're probably going to need an open end. wrench here. So I'm gonna go get an open-end wrench because I'm not able to get this. There's not enough clearance here for me to get my tool on to that bolt. All right. So let me go get an open-end wrench. All right, guys. Got my open-end wrench here. Let's see how many threads I can get easily here. So the job is pretty much done here, guys. All we need to do is put everything back together, reverse the procedure, and now make sure you put your ABS sensor in. Remember, these bolts was not really super duper tight, so don't go crazy, all right? And I'm using a big wrench here, and I got a lot of leverage, all right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tighten this guy, all right? And I think where I think is fairly tight, that's where I'm gonna stop at. There you go. I think that one is nice and tight the way I want. Let me go back to this one. I like that one. All right. Let me turn this a little bit so I can get my hands on this one. All right, guys. I like this one. And don't forget the one down below, right? Alright, guys, there we have it. Don't forget to put the axle bolt and make sure you torque this, so you're not gonna see me tightening this. Alright, don't forget to put the cotter pin in. The cotter pin, make sure you put this cup on, and then the cotter pin, and the last thing will be the cup. All right, so that's it, guys. Put the ABS sensor in, put the brake caliper in with the rotor, and then the brakes in. Don't put the brakes in and the rotor is still hanging out. Don't forget the number 12 and 10 right there. Pretty much I'm pointing up here, number 12 and the 10 that's holding the brake line and the ABS line. All right, guys, and I'm gonna show you a little bit more, but let me tighten this. All right, I'm gonna torque this and I'm gonna come back. All right, guys. All right, guys, got this thing torqued, and let's find a good spot for this little guy to go in, and we can use our little guy right here. We'll call it a cutter. We can call it whatever we like, and then just push it down like so, guys. Make sure you open these ends on the cotter pin. All right, and the last thing is make sure you fix this little cup right here. All right, so you could just use a hammer, tap it straight. After that, you could simply just tap it on to the car. Shouldn't be a very difficult job. All right, use a mallet or end of the hammer to tap that in. You could use a hammer if you like, but just be careful, all right? And that's it, guys. We have that in. What we can do next is take our rotor. All right, make sure you push the plate back because sometimes the plate gets bent. All right, if it's touching, and you can use a lug nut to hold this guy in place. All right. And after that, we could just put our caliper back together. But I do need to move my camera to the other way.